Hey everyone, this is Colossus from Destination Thrills, and we are back with another theme park duel. And man, this is one that has been most requested on my channel. I'm very excited to see this. It is Six Flags Magic Mountain versus Cedar Point to see who has the best coaster lineup. Now again, I just want to emphasize that is the focus of this duel, is which one has the best coaster lineup. Things like theming, guest relations, overall park atmosphere will not come into play in this battle. This is strictly the coaster lineups, and boy, these two parks have some of the best coasters in the world. Now, originally I was gonna wait until I went to Six Flags Magic Mountain to do this duel, but you guys requested it so much that I figured, hey, I should just do it. And so here we are, we have the matchups, and I am so ready to see these results. Now, before we do, let's get into how this battle worked. We posted 14 head-to-head matches on our Instagram story with a coaster from each park going head-to-head. And I tried to pick specific categories, so I have the Hyper matchup, I also have the RMC matchup, and so on and so forth. Again, not all of these matchups are gonna be perfect. Not all of these matchups are going to be even. I just had to find a way to categorize it. So you might think that some of the matchups don't make sense. Again, I was just trying to categorize them the best that I could. I always appreciate your feedback, so if you have some matchups that you were like, that was crazy, or you enjoyed some of the matchups, let me know in the comments below. But I believe these are the best matchups that I could come up with. Now, each head-to-head matchup was worth 1 point, and I did give 1 extra point to Six Flags Magic Mountain for having the most coasters. Now, the final question I asked was, which theme park has the best coaster lineup overall? This question was weighted at 2 points, so the total amount of points that a theme park could get is 17. So the theme park that reaches 9 first will be our winner. And again, all of our matches were posted on my Instagram story. So if you want to participate in the next battle, let's say you missed this one and you want to be in the next one, definitely check out our Instagram page, as I will be posting more battles and more duels to come. And stick around to the end of this video, because I will be revealing the full tournament schedule that's going to happen during the 2020-2021 off season. And I am so excited to reveal that to you. We got some tournaments that are returning from last year and tons of new tournaments and battles coming. So again, stick around to the end of the video for that. I also want to give a huge shout out to everyone who voted. There were a total of 650 participants in most of the battles. I actually think that is a record for the most voters we've had in a battle. So thank you so much for voting and telling your friends about these battles. And I want to see these continue to grow. So if you haven't checked out our Instagram page, be sure to follow us there so you can vote in the next battle. All right, I think I've stalled enough here. Let's get right into the duel. All right, our first matchup I did was an early voting matchup. So all of these head-to-head duels were posted on October 3rd, with the exception of Goliath versus Magnum XL 200. This first matchup, I actually did an early one just because I couldn't wait until October 3rd to start the voting. I just had to put one matchup out there. But as far as the matchup is concerned, I've actually been on Titan at Six Flags Over Texas, which is very similar to Goliath at Six Flags Magic Mountain. I really enjoyed that coaster, but it is not as good, in my opinion, as Magnum XL 200, which gives you some wicked airtime. It's one of my favorite coasters at Cedar Point, and in my opinion, I think Magnum XL 200 would be the winner here. So let's see what our voters chose, and the winner is Magnum XL. Picks up the first point for Cedar Point. So now we have a tie of 1-1. Again, a reminder, if you're wondering why Magic Mountain already has a point, it is because I gave them 1 bonus point for having the most coasters. So we're starting off here with a tied matchup. All right, moving on to the Battle of the Mine Ride. So we have Gold Rusher. Now, I have not been on either of these coasters. When I was out at Cedar Point 2 years ago, I did not get a chance to ride Cedar Creek Mine Ride. Trust me, it wasn't on the priority list because it's a mine train, but I do want to eventually ride this one, and I do want to eventually ride Gold Rusher. Again, I'm not really sure which one's going to be the best here. I haven't even seen their POVs, so I'm just going to trust you all on the voting for this one. So the winner of Gold Rusher and Cedar Creek Mine Ride is Gold Rusher at Magic Mountain with 57% of the vote. So not a very huge win here, but Magic Mountain does pick up a crucial point and now has a 2-1 lead. All right, let's move on to the suspended coasters. Now, I have been on Iron Dragon at Cedar Point, and I did not like that at all. I actually prefer Bat at Kings Island way more, so I'm not a big fan of Iron Dragon. I have not been on Ninja, obviously, at Magic Mountain, so I think just the way the coaster community talks about both coasters, I have a feeling Ninja has the slight edge on this one. So let's see who wins, and Ninja does with 66% of the vote, and now Magic Mountain has a 3-1 lead. Now, I expect Cedar Point to do very well in this tournament, but I wasn't sure how the mid to lower tier coasters were gonna play out, so it's very interesting to see how Magic Mountain is winning these lower to middle tier coaster battles. Let's move on to the classic coasters, and we have New Revolution versus Corkscrew. I have been on Corkscrew. I actually liked it. It's a short coaster, but I really enjoyed that roller coaster, especially the double down first drop. I think you get some ridiculous airtime on it. New Revolution, however, looks really fun. It looks like a really awesome classic coaster, and I mean, this one is a classic. It's got so much history. That's one of the coasters I'm very excited to get on at Magic Mountain, and I think it might have an edge over Corkscrew here, but I don't know. Let's see what the voters chose, and the winner is New Revolution with 78% of the vote, so that's a big margin of victory. And now Magic Mountain, kind of a surprise here, has a 4-1 lead over Cedar Point. Again, these middle to lower tier matchups are starting to swing towards Magic Mountain, something I wasn't sure was going to happen. All right, let's move on to our next head-to-head matchup, and that is between the dueling coasters. Now, you might think this matchup is a little lopsided, but we have the brand new West Coast Racers versus Gemini. Now, this one, they're not very comparable, but they do have a racing aspect to them, or a dueling aspect, so I wanted to put these two in a head-to-head matchup, especially because I couldn't find anywhere else to put them, so it just made sense to put these two together. But I think West Coast Racer is gonna have the edge. It's got the launches, it's very modern, whereas you have Gemini, which is a classic as well. And actually, I really enjoyed Gemini, but I just don't think it's gonna stack up well against this modern coaster. So let's see if Six Flags Magic Mountain can further its lead. And it will. West Coast Racers with 70% of the vote with the win over Gemini. And now, what are we at? 5-1 for Magic Mountain. I don't know what to say. Cedar Point is going to have to start winning some of these middle to lower tier matchups, or it's going to lose this duel. Now, again, I expect it to be heavily favored once we get into the upper tier, but this is not looking good for the Cedar Point fanboys out there. So we'll see how the rest of it plays out. Let's go to the B&M coasters, and we have this B&M matchup, which is Riddler's Revenge, a stand-up coaster versus Valraven. I know there's a lot of haters on Valraven, but I absolutely love that coaster. I love dive coasters, and so it's actually in my top 6 at the park. I know you guys are probably gonna rip me in the comments for that one, but I absolutely love Valraven. I haven't been on Riddler's Revenge. My first stand-up coaster was Iron Wolf at Six Flags Great America when that was open, and I hated it. But then I rode Green Lantern at Six Flags Great Adventure, and I absolutely love that coaster. So if Riddler's Revenge is very similar to Green Lantern, then I think Riddler's Revenge will have an advantage here. But if it's not, if it's kind of a trashy stand-up coaster, then I think Valraven will have the edge. So it's up to you all. Will Cedar Point finally win one of these middle tier matchups? Well, the winner is Valraven with 65% of the vote. All right, let's get to the B&M inverts. We have Batman the Ride versus Raptor. Batman the Ride is one of my favorite B&M inverts. I like it better than Raptor, but I will say a majority of the community seems to rank Batman the Ride lower than the rest of the inverts. So I think Raptor has an advantage here, and let's see who wins. And the winner is Raptor with 86% of the vote, so not even close. So Cedar Point starting to come back into this battle, now only trailing 3-5. All right, let's take a look at the wooden coasters matchup. We have Apocalypse at Six Flags Magic Mountain versus Blue Streak. I absolutely love GCI, so I have a feeling I'm gonna love Apocalypse. It also just had some significant retracking, so I'm hearing that the coaster's running a lot better than it did a couple years ago. Blue Streak was pretty fun, but it's just nothing that's extravagant or spectacular or anything noteworthy in my opinion, but still a fun ride. I just don't think it's going to match up against a GCI very well. So let's see who wins, and Magic Mountain now extending its lead by winning 73% with Apocalypse over Blue Streak. So Magic Mountain now has a 6-3 lead, and it is inching closer to that 9-point threshold. So this is going to be down to the wire, I feel like, in this battle. All right, let's go to the floorless, the B&M floorless coasters matchup. We have Scream versus Rougarou. I feel like a lot of these floorless coasters are pretty much the same at the end of the day, so, you know, I don't see much of a difference between the two, though I have not been on Scream, so I don't know what it's like. I did really enjoy Rougarou. Rougarou might have an advantage here, but this is kind of one as a toss-up for me. I'm really not sure who is going to win this matchup. All right, and the winner between Rougarou and Scream is... Rougarou was 68% of the vote, so Cedar Point making up a little bit of ground again, and now only trailing 4-6 on Magic Mountain. All right, let's get to another B&M Coasters matchup. We have the Flying Coaster, Tatsu versus the Wing Coaster at Cedar Point, Gatekeeper. Gatekeeper is a very, very attractive coaster. It just fills up the front gate and it fills up the skyline when you're coming into Cedar Point. It's really cool to look at. I haven't been on Tatsu, but I know that flying coasters are crazy, and Tatsu is regarded as one of the best flying coasters in North America, if not the world. I think Tatsu is going to be heavily favored here, so let's see who wins. And Tatsu with 67% of the vote beats out Gatekeeper and now extends the lead and is getting closer to that 9-point mark it needs to hit with a 7-4 advantage. All right, we're starting to get into the upper tier now. This is where I think Cedar Point may start to make a run here at the last second. So our first upper tier matchup, we have Superman Escape from Krypton versus Top Thrill Dragster. I don't really think there's a comparison here. Top Thrill Dragster is probably one of the best strata coasters in the world. Its launch is just ridiculous. Many people regard Top Thrill Dragster as the best strata. So let's see if it lives up to that and wins this matchup, and it does with 90% of the vote. That's probably one of the biggest spreads we've had in today's duel. A 90% vote win over Superman Escape from Krypton. So Cedar Point's starting to get back into this battle, but it needs to overcome this 5-7 deficit now. All right, we're gonna get into launch coasters and another battle that I think Cedar Point has an advantage here. It's Maverick versus Full Throttle. Full Throttle looks fun, but Maverick was just amazing. It was a coaster that just blew my mind when I first rode it. I got back to the break run, I was like, what just happened? It is so fast paced. The launches are good, and the elements are just so quick and snappy. I mean, the transitions are amazing. It's one of the best coasters I've been on, so I have a hard time believing that Full Throttle is going to win this one. So let's see what happened, and Maverick wins with 90% of the vote. So Cedar Point is making a comeback here, now only down 6-7. All right, now it's time for a super elite battle. What some will say is the best coasters in both parks. We have Steel Vengeance versus Twisted Colossus in this RMC battle. Steel Vengeance definitely lives up to the hype of being one of the top coasters on the planet. Twisted Colossus looks really fun too, especially if it duels, but I have a hard time believing it is going to beat out Steel Vengeance, which not only has the great elements and the wicked maneuvers, but it has such a long duration, and that's what really does it for me with that coaster, is that you have so many elements packed into one ride. So Steel Vengeance, which by the way has not lost a single tournament that it's participated in, I have a feeling is going to win this pretty handily. So let's see what the results are, and Steel Vengeance wins with 86% of the vote, and now we have a tie between Six Flags Magic Mountain and Cedar Point. This is a comeback that I kind of expected. I knew Cedar Point was going to do well in these higher tier matchups. So again, not surprising, but man, this is a nail biter as we get to the finish here. All right, we have our final head-to-head matchup, and this one I was excited when I put this together just because I knew this one would probably be the close one. The other matchups I think were pretty easy to figure out who was going to win, but this one I think is tough. I really don't know who's going to win this one. We have X2 versus Millennium Force. These are some of the best coasters from the 2000s, and man, I really don't know who's gonna win this. We have X2, which is that 4D coaster. It looks absolutely wild. I've not been on a 4D coaster of that scale before, but Millennium Force is not my type of ride, so I'm not a big fan of Millennium Force, even though it is in my top 5 at the park. It's still a really good coaster. I mean, it's a Giga coaster for God's sake, so of course it's gonna be good. But it just doesn't do like all the crazy airtime maneuvers that I enjoy on coasters. So I have a feeling I'm gonna like X2 better, but I do know that there are tons and tons and tons of Millennium Force fans, and I feel like they are gonna be out in droves here, and I think they may push Cedar Point over the edge in this battle. So let's see who wins and who breaks the tie. It is gonna be Six Flags Magic Mountain, as X2 wins 55% of the vote, so just barely beating Millennium Force, and now Magic Mountain has the lead into our final round. I'll be honest, when I put this battle together, I was like, okay, Cedar Point's gonna win this easily here, but that is not the case. Magic Mountain has a chance to pull this one out. I can't believe this, honestly. All right, the final question is, which park has the best lineup overall? I think a lot of people pick Cedar Point as the best coaster lineup just because its elite tier is so elite. You know, it's got some of the best coasters in the world. But when you start getting to the middle and lower tiers, it kind of becomes a toss-up, and that's where I think Magic Mountain made up its ground, is that Magic Mountain's middle to lower tier is actually not too bad. But in my mind, I think most people will see the elite tier, and that's what makes them think that Cedar Point has the best coaster lineup. And again, I have not been to Magic Mountain, so I really don't know if I believe that Magic Mountain is better than Cedar Point or vice versa. All I know is that when I went to Cedar Point, I was blown away by the coaster lineup there. It was leaps better than any other park that I've been to so far. So I really think Cedar Point does have the best lineup, but it's just interesting to see how close this matchup is. Let's see what the voters chose. And a reminder, this matchup is worth 2 points. So if Cedar Point wins, it wins the matchup. If Magic Mountain wins, obviously it wins the matchup as well. So the winner of which park has the best overall lineup and the winner of this theme park duel is Cedar Point with 82% of the vote. So Cedar Point wins the Magic Mountain versus Cedar Point battle, but man, I thought I was gonna say that with a huge lead, but Cedar Point barely wins with a 9-8 victory. This is hands down one of the closest matchups we have ever done here, and boy was that a nail biter. So I just want to thank everybody who participated in this matchup. Again, we had 650 participants. Let's try to get that to 700 for our next duel, which will be a tournament to kick off our off-season tournament schedule, which I'm about to reveal now. So here it is, our tournament schedule. We will have 10 tournaments throughout the off-season, starting at the end of this month and going all the way until April of next year. The first tournament that we will be doing will be on October 27th, or will start on October 27th. It will be the Ohio Coaster Tournament. So we'll have coasters from Cedar Point and from Kings Island, the elite coasters, going head-to-head there. Then on November 17th, we'll have the Six Flags Magic Mountain Coaster Tournament. Then on December 1st, we will start the B&M Inverted Coaster Tournament. Then on December 15th, we will have a Coaster Manufacturer Tournament. So we're going to put all the coaster manufacturers in a bracket and have them go head-to-head. So will RMC win, Intamin, B&M? That will be a really interesting matchup and the first of its kind that I've done here on the channel. Then to kick off 2021, we will have the Kings Island Coaster Tournament. Kings Island has a great matchup, and now that they have Orion, how is it going to shake up? Will Orion now be the top dog of Kings Island? We'll have to find out then. On January 18th of 2021, we will have the Intamin Coaster Tournament. So we're going to have the best Intamin coasters going head-to-head in a bracket style. There are going to be some really good coasters participating in that tournament. Then in the month of February, on the 2nd, we will have the Florida Coaster Tournament, and then we will also have the European Coaster Tournament, the second annual European Coaster Tournament happening on February 15th. Then we will have the first ever Japan Coaster Tournament happening. I'm very excited about that because that is a country I really want to go to and ride some of their amazing coasters. So you're going to see Dododompa, Takabisha, all those really good coasters, even Ejinaika will be in that tournament. And then finally, on April 4th, we are bringing back the 64 coaster North American Roller Coaster Tournament. The 2021 version. Will Steel Vengeance defend its title and win the second annual North American Coaster Tournament? We will have to find out, as we'll have some newcomers this year. Not as many newcomers as we were hoping, because a lot of the coasters that we wanted to open this year did not, but we will definitely have enough coasters to really make it an interesting tournament. So I'm excited for that. And again, that is going to be starting on April 4th. Again, these are the tournaments we're going to do. I'm so excited. We have 10 tournaments. And just a reminder, I still work a full-time job, so some of these dates may have to change just depending on what my life schedule is, but I'm going to try and stay true to this schedule as best as possible. So this is the tournament schedule we have so far. So I'm really looking forward to having all of these matchups for you. And I'm just telling you, if you haven't gone to our Instagram page to check it out and you want to vote in these tournaments, I highly suggest you do, as we will post all of the information there. Now, if you really like this coaster battle and you want to see more of them or more tournaments, then I recommend that you scroll down into the description and check out the full playlist link below. I have a full playlist for coaster battles specifically, so you're going to want to check that out if you haven't seen some of our other duels. That will include the Cedar Fair versus Six Flags matchup that I did earlier. This was a battle of theme parks, and that matchup was really close as well. So I'm going to go ahead and link that video in the card above for you to check out. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Destination Thrills, as we are the destination for all the latest theme park news, battles, and content. I'm Hale. Thank you so much for watching and participating in this crazy duel. Cedar Point is our winner, so congratulations to all the Cedar Point fanboys out there for this win. I want you all to stay safe out there and have a good one.